So today I'm having somebody special on my little podcast. We've actually had him on here before. I just lost the actual recording. Funny story, or actually not so funny story. My own father turned out to be the one who had me swatted. And he used his hate speech, but he used my identity to do it. So it's kind of sucky. But we had him on here before, and last time we talked about his book, which was his comic series, which is kind of like it's both. I'd say it's an insight into the incel mindset, but it's also kind of poking fun at it. Anyhow, here's Lentus. Hi, Lentus.
Thanks for having me. I am Lentus Realizer, and I am a very sophisticated fella.
Very sophisticated.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that was. At least it wasn't as terrible as Boogie. So we talked about Boogie before for a bit. I sent you the video. I don't know if you saw the whole thing, but it was tragic.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It was funny, but also tragic. And this poor girl, and we were like, my initial reaction was like, she must have some daddy issues, and then she's like talking about her family being somewhat broken.
Yeah, she says that the father wasn't present or something like that, I think.
And that kind of explains it. But yeah, Boogie is like, this guy is like getting worse and worse. I feel like I apparently has narcissistic personality disorder, which is relatable because my father has that. And yeah, it all makes sense in that perspective, because he constantly keeps talking about, ooh, I'm so sad, and my life is so horrible, and oh, my childhood, and he can't stop talking about it, and it's like, it's very,
yeah.
He's like blaming every mistake he makes, he blames on others, and it's like very, yeah, it's pretty much what narcissists do. So, do you want to talk about your comic series for a bit? What it's about, and maybe we'll have it. Maybe I'll find the old video.
Just a little bit my opinion on the documentary.
Okay, sure.
The one scene where he goes to the counselor, the job counselor, right?
Uh-huh.
And he says that he worked for 8 years on the porn industry. That was really funny.
Oh yeah, that scene. Oh my god, like the counselor, like when he said that, the look on her face was like saying, "Oh, you should maybe kill yourself." That was funny as fuck. That was my favorite scene as well. Like, holy shit! Imagine being that degenerate and deranged that you go into a fucking job interview and are like, "Well, I've worked in the porn industry before," and especially looking like that.
I know why he did that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
Can I say why he did that?
I don't think he wants a job.
Basically, he basically went there. They went there. He was talking about it on the podcast with Wings of Redemption and Tommy C. And he was saying that they basically knew that he wouldn't be picked up for any job. Like, beforehand he knew, so he was just trying to make it like fun or something.
Yeah,
for the documentary.
He is so spoiled too. Like, he thinks just because he used to be a great big YouTuber, like an OG, that he doesn't need to work for the rest of his life. I mean, if he had been as good with money as like PewDiePie, he probably wouldn't have worked for the rest of his life. I don't think PewDiePie needs to work anymore.
Because PewDiePie doesn't have mental illness.
Yeah.
He didn't take SSRI since 15 years of age. That's basically what he says in the podcast, by the way. He says,
okay.
Fat.
I hate SSRIs. I don't even know what SSRIs are for. I was on SSRIs for like a couple months back in 2020. And all they did was just make me more miserable. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, the friggin' thing is literally called antidepressive, but it makes you suicidal. So that's one of the side effects. It makes you suicidal. What is the point of how are they suppressing depression if the main thing of depression being suicidal is a fucking side effect of SSRIs? It doesn't make sense. Like, just give people antipsychotics, at least they sleep. Like, antipsychotics make you fat and they make you sleep, but it's preferable to these things. Like, holy fuck.
But SSRI makes you fat too. That's the more fucked up element of it.
Oh, I've not taken them long enough. I don't think they made me fat. I was mostly
they made me fat for sure.
That sucks. That sucks to hear. Yeah, what was I gonna... So I got a job interview yesterday, and... No, actually not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Yesterday they were supposed to call me back, and we'll see. I'm pretty positive that I will get that job. It would be a great job opportunity. It's kind of a mix of engineering and testing and support. So I'm pretty good at support, and I'm obviously an engineer, so it would be kind of a great job opportunity. And that would be my first...
this type of job before?
I've done multiple jobs. One of them was kind of in testing, and one was in support. And then mostly I've done software engineering. That would be my first real software company, though. I don't think I've ever worked for a dedicated software company. I've mostly worked for like the last big company I worked for actually manufactured paint and insulation. So, but they had like they had their own software team, their own software department, internal one. And that internal software team, they were like developing software for their own kind of employees and for their salespeople, their salespersons. And but I've never really worked for a software company. And well, I worked for one when I was a trainee, but I was a pretty bare bones one. They didn't even have their own offices. They had like a it's called a co-location. So basically what they had a giant room, and they rented part of that room, but the other part of the room was used by other people. So it's like it didn't feel very professional in a way, because there were other people sitting inside. And I mean, if you have a professional business, you usually don't want your company secrets stolen, so you don't really have other people that don't belong to the company in the same room. But this company here is it was pretty professional. They had like, it's an old warehouse. Oh, crap. We lost the connection. Just a sec.
So there was just a bunch of
do you hear me?
Yeah.
We lost the connection for a sec.
Yeah, sorry about that.
What were you saying?
I was saying that there were some assholes in the previous job, right?
Yeah,
Getting in the way.
And so that was not the big company. That wasn't the paint manufacturer. That was after the paint manufacturer. After the paint manufacturer, I was kind of working for a health insurance company, and those people, like the one guy, he was nice and all, but he was constantly he was sabotaging the project in a way, because for one, and I kept telling him we have version control. He can just delete the code, but he was just I don't know if it's his connection or mine. We'll be right back.